Is that right, Orla?
Oh,
morning, y'all. Busy office day today. Got lots of tidying up before my trip to America next week. Leave on Tuesday. No, Wednesday, I think. Got a couple of phone meetings as well. The answer to yesterday's question is...
the one that suits your delivery best.
Is that right, Orla? The one that suits your delivery best, absolutely. There's no correct lot, and the reason I asked this question is I get asked it quite a lot, and I don't know how to answer it. I'm glad to see most of you were getting that one right. So today's question is, and without looking at the website, what is the PGA Tour average drive? So what's the length of the average drive in yards on the PGA Tour? Do not look at the website, post it down there, let me know what you come up with. More swings coming at you today, very much with a fade, slicing theme. Let's see if we can give this guy some help. I've got an interesting one for you. A comment on one of my compares, and I'm not having a go, I'm just asking the question. It was Epic v Epic, so Sub-Zero v Epic. Those clubs appear to have different shafts in them. That isn't a fair test. That's what the comment said. Now, if you believe shaft makes that big a difference, is there not a possibility that to get the best out of both of those two clubs, you might require a different shaft? So does that person want to see like for like, regardless if it's the best shaft for that club or not? That's the bit I don't get. I don't understand the contradiction in its own question. Like, I don't get that. Can someone explain that to me? So today's swing, little outfit change, just been filming for Golf Online. So quite an extreme movement away from the ball. Definitely club moving very much outside your hands, which is something you don't see at that extreme that often. So we're going to think about that. We're going to think a little bit about setup, maybe grip, maybe shoulders, hard to tell from this angle, but I'll tell you what I see from here and you can confirm if you do when you get the information. And then we're going to talk about that club pointing down to the ground so much at the top here. So if you were to change club path with the way you're using your wrist angles at the minute, you would be a worse player. The ball would just go straight right. So you need that path to complement that wrist angles, and those wrist angles complement those paths. You've got to change them at the same time. Speaker just turned off. So let's talk today a little bit about setup, and we're going to talk about how to change those angles that you're moving that club on if you want to, as well as what you need to do with that to make sure the shot stays functional, because this shot could still be functional. We might talk a little bit about how to play with this shot as well.
Oh, lovely light, Matt. Oh.
Could do better. Grip and setup to start us off. If we look at that right hand, we were seeing this kind of stretched, really stretched out finger, which I can only get if I get my hand there. So what we would call quite weak. So I would like to see you just position your right hand this way, so a bit more as you look down to the right. Thumb and the first finger, the V between them. So it creates a V there. Try and get it going off to your right shoulder more. Now, you might need to use that bit of advice or not, just look down at your grip. That's just all I can see from that angle. Now, also what happens when people get their right hand over so much is they tend to do it with their right shoulder, so it gets their shoulders pointing down to the left. This makes your action going this way make a lot more sense when you've got your setup in that position. So, right hand more round to the right. V between thumb and first finger off towards right shoulder, and then I also want your right shoulder to drop back. Feel like your shoulders are pointing more, say, parallel to your target line, even slightly right would be a good feeling for you, because it will give you a chance of moving that path and making a very different backswing. Let's answer your questions.
Hey Mark.
Hey.
My name's Ryan. I'm a 4 handicap, and me and my man Tiggs here have a question regarding wedge bounce. Commonly hear the term or the phrase, use the bounce with your wedges. Quite frankly, I have no idea what that means. I know Tiggs does, but I need some help. When I hit a wedge shot, I just hit the shot. It's not something that goes through my mind that I should be, and maybe how I should be changing how I play shots with, say, a 10-degree bounce wedge or a 6-degree bounce wedge, or maybe given your track record, we talked to Coach about this one. I know chipping's a little difficult for you. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts either way. Thanks, brah.
No problem, brah. Let's get outside. Right. Bounce. I've got one of these new ping glide wedges here I just happen to have in my office. This has 10 degrees of bounce, 58 10 degrees of bounce. So that basically is saying this bit is 10 degrees lower than this bit. Now the trouble with bounce is it's dynamic, because if I was to twist the club this way, like lots of people would, this angle now gets more. Now where bounce won't help you, for instance, if you've got a very tight line, you had a lot of bounce, means the leading edge is above that bottom edge 10 degrees unless you start getting lots of shaft lean, and that can dig. So different bounces for different conditions may help, but the trouble with wedges again is they're so dynamic. People aren't just putting them down at this measured bounce angle, they're moving them around. So I would be a little bit more liberal thinking when it comes to bounce. So if I stand here and hit a shot and I feel like I'm going to twist the face this way, adding loft and creating more bounce, then I'm going to be careful how I interact with this ground. Nothing wrong with my chipping, bruh. Green is a little bit frozen. Now, if I want to play one lower, where I feel like I'm going to lean the handle forward, and look what happens now is this back end is now almost above this front end. So I'm removing that 10-degree bounce. Again, I'm going to play that shot in a way where I try not to dig the club in, knowing that that is being presented. Going to really brush it along the floor. Almost feel like I'm pulling it up slightly as I hit the ball. As a feeling I would still be hitting down. So I'm manipulating the bounce subject to how I'm twisting that face around, so I wouldn't get too bogged down in bounces. You ask Coach what you want. Good chips, bruh. It's understanding. Get your wedge up, have a look at it. Just put your finger out and see how it would have presented on the ground, subject to your twists and turns, and get an idea of how you wouldn't want to present that leading edge. Use the bounce, bruh.
Morning, bruh.
Morning.
For your daily vlogs. Why is it so cold? I've got to come down here, got to unlock this teaching bay. Cannot feel my fingers. I know. Maybe I'll go to Orlando next week. What do you think? Cheers, bro.
Because you gotta keep teaching the people, Simon. Come on, keep doing your fantastic coaching jobs. And definitely come to Orlando. I'm going. Come on. If you're there, give us a message, Simon.
Next thing I'd like to see you do is think about the direction that club is swinging on. So grip and shoulder in place. I want you to feel like hands are coming back towards your right pocket. I want you to feel like your right pocket's moving back. I want you to feel like you're getting that club head to come up over your right shoulder and behind. So getting it more in from out in front of you to behind you. That's a conscious effort of literally just bringing it back to your side, while at the same time I want you to feel like you're trying to keep this left wrist flat with your left arm. If you don't get those wrist conditions sorted, this path won't make any sense. The setup I've given you is going to help you make this path, but you've got to get the wrist conditions in there as well to make sure that when the club is getting back down by the ball, face isn't simply just pointing miles right. If that shot you show me is a relatively good strike, that ball does start somewhere near target, so the face is pointing at target. It's just way open to the path coming from those wrist angles.
Got a parcel to pick up. A parcel? Some kind of... Thanks, Stu. So Stu has sent me 2 golf markers. Thanks, Stu. Me and Coach, actually. Thanks for all the videos over the years, particularly loving the new vlogs away from the course. Thank you. You're in one. Hopefully many more to come. Please find it close. 2 ball markers from a golf society. Bad Idea Beers. We do actually make beer, but it's too expensive to send those. Keep up the great work, Stu. Thanks, Stu. Bad Idea Beers. They'll be going in my golf bag.
Another simple drill you can use, and I've used this before, just step that right foot back and bring that club into that space. Really get the feeling of that club on that very different path to what you're used to. You've got to get your hands crossing over, haven't you?
So again, one more tip for you as well. Split your hands on the club and feel the right hand pulling the club back in line with the left, and then take it to the top. This is a great way of getting people to feel the difference between that action, what you're doing, and lining these forces up a little bit more with the path of that backswing. There we go, Friday done. Just about to make prawn pasta for one. Everyone's out playing tonight. Been a fun Friday, good lesson, hope that helps. I had some fun meetings, had a fun meeting with the golf channel on the old blower today. Remember to subscribe to the channel, send your video questions, send your video swings. See you all next week. Have a good weekend, everybody. It's dirty.